when witches go riding and black cats are seen. The moon laughs and whispers, 'tis near Halloween. Hi, I'm Elise and welcome to Which Way. Today I'll be taking you through the Witches of Halloween. It's the season of the witch, and I've watched just about every witch film with Halloween themes, including making the mistake of judging a film by its title and watching Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and expecting witches. But all I got was the Silver Shamrock song stuck in my head.
It's 4 days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
But here are all of the Halloween films, excluding cartoons, that actually do have witches in them. I'll give a brief rundown and recommend those worth watching with a little bit more detail. The earliest Hallowitch film I could find was in the 80s with The Midnight Hour. Released in 1985, it follows some teenagers who, on Halloween, mockingly use a spell that was used by the witch Lucinda hundreds of years ago to raise the dead. And surprise, they raise the dead, including Lucinda, who is apparently now a vampire and set on turning the rest of the town into monsters. So Phil and his mysterious new friend Sandy must reverse the spell lest the whole town join the living dead. This film has some awesome 80s monster makeup and was a lot of fun to watch, even with the random musical number in the middle and the over-the-top teeth baring. It's worth it just to see Star Trek's Geordie LaForge show off his sparkly whites. Now, before Harry Potter went to Hogwarts, Mildred Hubble went to Miss Cackle's Academy for Witches. The Worst Witch from 1986 follows Mildred Hubble, apparently the worst witch, at Miss Cackle's Academy for Witches. Miss Cackle's evil twin Agatha is plotting to take over the academy while the students themselves are preparing a routine for the Halloween celebration where the Grand Wizard, portrayed by Tim Curry, will be in attendance. Can Mildred stop Agatha's evil plot? Now, the evil witches in this seem to be more tacky than evil, but the film overall is charming, and it was interesting to see Fairuza Balk's first witchy role before she became a Nancy Downs from The Craft. Speaking of The Craft, this next film brings us into the 90s, starting off strong with Hocus Pocus. Released in 1993, the Sanderson sisters are resurrected on Halloween night. These witches now have Salem under their spell and have one night to ensure their return is permanent, and it's up to Max, Allison, and Danny to stop them, since they were the ones responsible for their return. This film is definitely a Halloween must-watch for most households, and you can go and check out my witch lore review if you want to know all of the witch lore that was in this film, and there was quite a lot, including everything in the Sanderson sisters spellbook. Now, if you want another film where the sunrise after Halloween brings salvation, you can watch the survival horror The Hollow from 2015, though the witches are never seen, only the creature that they summoned. There are many films where the plot concludes on Halloween, like 2017's A Witch's Ball, where Beatrix needs to fix her magic ball, Double Double, Toil and Trouble from 1993, where the Olsen twins need to save their good aunt from their evil aunt, 2005's Twitches, where Tia and Tamira portray the teen witches, see what they did there, who need to defeat the forces of darkness, and All Hallows Eve from 2016, where, here's another clever name, Eve Hallow needs to figure out her witchy powers. But my favourite is Tower of Terror, which was released in 1997. On Halloween night, 5 people mysteriously vanished from the Hollywood Hotel, and it's been closed ever since, haunted by these souls. 60 years later, and a supernatural journalist and his niece discover the story of the witch's curse that doomed these 5 people. but this Halloween may be the time to free their souls or doom them for good. This film was surprisingly good and is actually based off of a theme park attraction. I remember watching it as a kid, and re-watching this film, I think it holds up, but you can let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. If you want to watch a Halloween romance, you could watch You Cast a Spell, where Warlock Matt accidentally siphons off his magic to a human, or you could watch Practical Magic. Released in 1998, it follows the cursed Owens witches, mainly Sally and Gillian Owens. The curse dooms any man to love an Owens witch. Sally loses her love to the curse, and Gillian asks Sally for help losing her obsessive lover, Jimmy Angelov. He ends up dead, and a detective arrives to find out the truth. But the truth is hard to believe, as Jimmy isn't gone for good. I love this film, and I just released my Witch Lore video on this film. You can watch this movie any time of year, but it's a go-to for Halloween, especially due to the iconic scene at the end of the film. Next up is 1999's Sleepy Hollow. Constable Ichabod Crane is sent to investigate a series of murders in the town of Sleepy Hollow, apparently committed by the spirit of a vengeful headless horseman. Originally skeptical, he soon finds out this is very much what is happening and needs to solve a case involving witches and spirits before the horseman takes any more heads. This film is based off of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving, but Tim Burton definitely stamped his mark on this twisted tale. Okay, so this film isn't technically set during Halloween, but witches, spirits, and flaming pumpkins definitely qualify it for this category, as well as its director being responsible for one of the most Halloween movies of all time, The Nightmare Before Christmas. That one also has witches in it, if only for a little bit, so technically I can add it to this list, right? Our next films take us through from the 90s into the 2000s with the Halloweentown films. Starting in 1998 with Halloweentown, then into 2001 with Halloweentown 2, Calabar's Revenge, and in 2004 we had both Halloweentown High and Return to Halloweentown. These films follow the Cromwell witches, mainly Marnie Cromwell and her siblings. They discover that their family is from Halloweentown, another world where every kind of spooky creature dwells separate from humanity. Marnie struggles living between both of these worlds and tries to get them to come together. Now, I found Halloweentown to be too bright and colourful and not very fall at all. The town square was just full of pumpkins and hay, and the creatures who lived there were more comical than spooky, but I guess to some people that's what Halloween is all about, so if you look at it that way, I suppose they did capture it well, and the concept was okay. I think I was just expecting more The Nightmare Before Christmas Halloweentown. But I did find out that the real-world town of St. Helens, which provided the location for Halloweentown, recreates the set of the town square every year for Halloween, so that would be pretty special to check out. Or if you wanted to find out if the haunting of a witch was real or not on Halloween, you could go tell spooky stories in the woods where the woodland witch was murdered, like in The Witching from 2016. Or you could go and visit the House of the Witch, as in 2017's House of the Witch. We started off with a bunch of teenagers, so we will end this list with a bunch of teenagers. This time, they decide to go and check out an abandoned house on Halloween, rumored to have belonged to a witch. They soon become trapped inside this house and are taken down one by one by the witch. This one was also okay. What saved it was the interesting twist on the final girl. I'll end this list by giving a couple of honourable mentions to some TV specials. The first one is the Paul Lynde Halloween special, which is pretty awesome as it had the original actresses reprising their roles as Witchy Poo and the Wicked Witch of the West. And second was Elvira's Halloween special, where the Mistress of the Dark herself goes and visits Salem. Oh my goodness, now that I've finally watched the Elvira films, I get what all the fuss is about. She is amazing. I will let you know a little bit more about those films in my monthly wrap-up, but I digress. If you want to know more about Halloween in general, I highly recommend the podcast It's Always Halloween. It talks all things Halloween all year round, and we'll soon be doing a segment on witches, so binge it until then. Let me know your favorite go-to witchy movies for Halloween, or any I've missed, in the comments, as well as any witchy TV series or movies recommendations for my Witch Lore reviews. Please remember to like and subscribe to keep me going, and thanks very much for watching here on Witch Way.